Jason's rule that he was going to fall in love with the wrong person.
I'm not going to tell you what that means. Go ahead and try. It does come up again. They're in the 4th book, what that means. You know, Madame Dorothea was reading his tea leaves, and she said, she was sort of, you know, one of those things like, you'll go on a long journey and meet a stranger, but she said, you know, you will fall in love with the wrong person. So the question is, does it simply mean that the wrong person was Clary because for a long time they thought that she was the wrong person? Or is there a deeper meaning there, and that does come up again?
Here. Yes.
Okay, so in the city of, I think, Glass, you know, Jonathan, aka Sebastian, did he actually die or did he just crawl off?
You're getting all the tough questions.
The questions that I can't actually answer. I like to think that despite having his spine severed and falling into a river, he has recovered and joined the Cirque du Soleil. That's my way of not answering.
Fairy wings.
Wait, which one?
Yeah.
You. Oh, sorry. Yes, you. I did not see your wings. Your wings were lower.
I have wings too.
How about you and then you? So you both.
Okay. I was wondering. I know Holly's book is already on Pulse-It, but Cassandra, will any of your books ever be on Pulse-It?
Of course. You know, City of Bones was when it came out, and I think they are going to do that with Clockwork Angel. So keep an eye out.
Did you have a
Yes,
question?
I do. Does Simon in Clockwork Angel, does he have an ancestor? What? Or Sebastian, apparently.
Does Simon have an ancestor in Clockwork Angel? No. I decided that, well, it makes sense for the Shadowhunters to all have ancestors that knew each other because there aren't that many Shadowhunters and the families would all know each other. It'd be overly coincidental for Simon, whose ancestors are Jewish and will probably be chased by Russians in, you know, the Ukraine, to also have an ancestor in London who happened to know someone who would then, 135 years later, meet someone else. That it just wasn't going to happen. So we can assume that Simon's, you know.
Nonsense.
I'm just kidding.
You were.
Black Angel? Okay, Valentine. It was really bothering me when I was reading City of Glass. Valentine just assumed that when he came back to the lake and reading moral instruments in, that Angel Raziel was just going to do what he asked. Was he that arrogant, or did he really, really believe that his cause was that just?
He was right. Raziel would have done it. Because the way that the magic worked is that he is compelled to grant that wish, whether he wanted to or whether he didn't. He might have granted the wish and then killed him. He might have granted the wish and then done something else, but I mean, he did believe his cause was just. He was very shocked and upset to find out that the angel was not on his side, and, you know, didn't think that what he was doing was right. But B, he was actually right. I mean, Raziel would have done it.
Who are your favorite authors and your favorite books?
It's always difficult because I know I'm going to forget somebody that I like a lot. But definitely for me, Emma Bull, who wrote War for the Oaks, which is a great fairy contemporary fantasy, one of the first fairy contemporary fantasies, now set in the 80s. So, like, it was written in the 80s, so, but now when you read it, the clothes are kind of hilarious, but it's a fantastic book. I think it still holds up. Charles Lynch, Jack and Ken Rowan. I've recently, I really loved Megan Whalen Turner, who wrote a series, the Queen's Thief series, which is just fantastic. The first book is The Thief, and then there's Queen of Vitolia, King Vitolia, and then A Conspiracy of Kings. I think is the new one.
Megan Whalen Turner.
Well, here, you say somebody, and then I'll think about who my next person says.
Tammy Garcia and Margaret Stoll wrote a book called Beautiful Creatures.
I just read Beautiful Darkness.
I also just
so
read Beautiful Darkness.
You did?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that.
It's called like halfway through. It's really good. I haven't gotten to the stickering.
I'm not going to explain it.
We both really love that one.
Allie Carter wrote a book called Heist Society. So good. And you know, we are now like we have all of these conversations that are just about the cons we've read about, and all the con research we've done. So there's this book called The Big Con, and when we met, we immediately were like, yes, it is the most fantastic book, it is so great. Remember this con, remember that con? And we did talk about Dog at the Bar, not Octopus in the coffee shop.
I love The Hunger Games. We both read it at SNR before it came out. And I was like, book will be big. Graceling and Sleepful Fire.
Oh, Graceling!
Are both really great.
I love Graceling.
All right, a couple more.
I have 2 questions. Okay, I was kind of confused about the mark of Cain on Simon's head. Can you explain like what's going to happen, or not what's going to happen to him, but what it does to him? I mean, does it affect him at all?
Well, the mark of Cain in the Bible was put on Cain because all right, so Cain kills his brother, and his punishment is to wander the earth as an outcast and to be hated. And he said, well, you know, he says to God, well, then you might as well kill me because, you know, the people who find me will kill me. And he says, I put a mark on you, the mark of Cain, and therefore whoever slayeth Cain shall find that, you know, whoever tries to hurt you shall find that pain comes back on them 7-fold. So what it is it is a mark of ultimate protection. It is also a mark that makes Simon kind of an outcast, but if someone tries to hurt him, that pain will come back on them, so like 7 times. So if you punch him, you will be thrown, you know, back against the wall with 7 times as much force as you used to try to hit him. And there is a chapter called, I think it's the 3rd chapter, it's called Sevenfold, in which you see what happens to someone who actually tries to harm him severely. And it's fairly gross.
Second question, sorry.
Right. Oh, were you happy, or this is for you, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Were you happy with how the Spider-Verse movie turned out?
I really was. You know, I think when you go into having a movie made, you always know that things are going to be changed, and you have to be okay with that because, you know, the director and you know, the producers are going to take ownership of it. They're going to be interested in the parts of it that resonate with them, that they really love, and it might not be the parts that you love, and that's okay. You know, they have to go off and, you know, spend many years of their life doing this, so they should have that kind of ownership. But the 2 things I really, really cared about, and the 2 things I would constantly talk about, were just making sure that the fairy folklore was accurate. I sent them all kinds of books, and I would constantly talk about that stuff, and also that the characters felt like themselves. And I think that, you know, I think that they definitely delivered on both fronts. I think that, and I also think that the movie just was like really fun. It was a movie I would have liked to see. So I really did think it was good. All right. Let me pick. You know what I mean? All right, in the back. Yeah.
Okay, whenever Valentine threw the mortal sword and the mortal cup into the lake, what happened to the mortal cup and mortal sword?
The last time you see them, they've washed back up on the shores of the lake, and you'll see them again in the 4th book. They were, I mean, you see, they've washed back up on the shores of the lake, right? The cup and the sword are there, so I kind of figured people would assume that those people who came to rescue Jason Clary would also take the mortal instruments and not just leave them there. But it is mentioned in the 4th book that they have been returned to the places that they were previously kept. I get to pick that.
Me too.
Did you have any experience like
well, I mean, I did. I did not run away, but I did live near New York, and I did actually at one point sleep in a subway station with a friend of mine when I was very young, and it was very stupid, but we did do it. And you know, there's a lot of addiction stuff in Valley, and I had you know, I had a family member who was going through a lot of that, and so you know, there's a lot of Valiant that's taken from, you know, bits of my life and also the bits of lives of people I was close to.
A few more. Yes, please.